GM Beanstalk, this is Beanthoven with your weekly call roundup. It's been a quiet week on calls with just the weekly Scribe and DAO meetings. On Wednesday, Scribe walked through their ongoing PR and BD work, and content for their social strategy.
On content, we did have to move some things around, so we're looking to get stablecoin Trilemma piece out tomorrow. So we have that, and then there'll be a thread to follow that. We think the engagement on the threads has been awesome. Like, community's really liking it. I think this is how we're going to kind of get outside of our own little bubble that we kind of have.
They invited input and clarifications from the DAO and walked through the long-term plan leading up to the Wells release.
So this is kind of, what's on tap. So Trilemma analysis is going to go out tomorrow. I think we want to do like flat coins at the end of the week, right? Like, I think that's a big narrative to get in front of. And then as far as next week, we have the Silo threads. We're pretty excited. We've been talking to Usfi about his Bean Scholars class. So we're definitely going to want to bring a lot of attention there, bring some people in there. Next week's blog post is Beanomics, and we're going to focus on kind of peg mechanics and system incentives and kind of go through the behavioral stuff. By next Wednesday, we want to have this filled out all the way through to the end of April. And so we already have a long form kind of planned out.
Thursday's DAO meeting started with the usual update from Guy.
On this end, a couple weeks ago, dropped a bit of anticipated timeline for what we're calling now the Mayflower update. I think that it'd be helpful to get everyone on the same page with a document in writing. So hopefully going to put out a blog post of sorts related to that sometime in the next week or so. A couple weeks ago, Hypernative presented to the DAO at one of the DAO meetings, which is a security monitoring solution. And they seem great. They seem really hungry and are interested in essentially having, a third-party review transactions that are submitted via the multisig. And hopefully I think a lot of the value from that would come from once on-chain governance is re-implemented. Also on the security front, just continuing to try to find and retain auditors that want to retain their bean exposure.
Sweetredbeans sent along a UI update to be read.
They say getting excited thinking about what the UX should be for deploying a well, in particular the design and deploy your own Oracle UX. Still thinking through the implementation, but think it makes the most sense to optimize around removing friction and deploying a well with the pump Beanstalk Farms has designed, while also making it easy to fork and tune the Oracle parameters in the design to scope up or down. Additionally, made some last-minute UI changes to the use claimable assets flow to preserve view space and reduce clutter. I believe what they're referring to is the chaining transactions together a UX in the Beanstalk UI, which we're hoping to ship in the near future.
And Silo Chad gave dev updates.
We got the report back from Cifrin about the state of wells. And so we've got a big list of sort of discussions to have and code to go through in order to get that all wrapped up. But overall, had a great experience having the code audited with them, and feel like this code base in particular is in a pretty good spot. The main other thing on my end and for sort of the contract side of things is we're spending some time this week getting all of the active BIP branches resolved on the Beanstalk repository. So given that these branches have been in development for a while, there's a lot of code changes kind of across a couple of different places that need to get all sort of merged together. And so we're spending some time on that.
Jason of Analysis on Chain was also there, discussing what they could offer for the DAO's recovery efforts.
So what I'm proposing is a way to look at and understand where these funds currently are through pattern recognition. If that leads to other centralized exchanges, then so be it. Does that link to the original one? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of unanswered questions here, and all I'm looking to do is maximize the information that you guys have that help you to recover some of these funds.
Publius questioned if they could provide any information the DAO doesn't already have, and it seems like the conversation will continue. Lastly, on a personal note, the new Mrs. Beanthoven and I will be taking some time to hike the Camino de Santiago for our honeymoon. Belabeantok will be taking over the weekly roundup and all other AudioFarms duties for a while. I'll still be checking in and fully back in mid-May, just in time to sing praises to the wells. Until then, have a great April, farmers. I'll see you all again soon.